Thank you, Cheviji, for your help.
Good morning.
Rosiola, how are you?
Fine, good. Happy to be here.
Yes, me too. Did you revise a little bit or?
Well, last night what I did is not enough. I did not study the definitions for established based and
Good.
and those charts, but that doesn't mean that I know them.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
I read them doesn't mean much in my mind.
Okay. Yes, we will study them sooner or later. I hope. Yes, today we will delve into the syllogism, and then when the defenders' answers are clear for everyone, then we will start with those definitions. Yeah, but that's good to read them.
I thought
Yeah.
I think for what I read, excuse me, I don't have my glasses, and without my glasses, I am a mess. Um, it's not nice. Uh, so what I was gonna tell you is, I thought those definitions, because it was established base, permanent phenomena, functioning thing, then permanent phenomena is possible and impossible, and then
Yes.
functioning is matter, consciousness. So all this, I think these are things that that definitions that you have you know
Yeah.
talked about.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
these are the
Yes.
that I
Functioning thing. And all the, the categories, like selflessness is the broadest one. Then we
mm,
have existent, then permanent, impermanent, and so on. Yeah, that's very good to recall that. Yeah, that's very useful. Yeah.
I really like this a lot.
Yeah,
Very,
that's
because I realized that all, like, things that I didn't know this. Like all the great books, all the great books are written in in this format of debate,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
of the opponents, your posture, I mean your position, and clearing out doubts.
Yes.
I didn't know. That's why it seemed complicated. It was like, why do they talk about this? Well, because of this.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I know, very simple, but to me, it's a great wonder of discovery.
Yes, it's a very good, very important one. Yeah, very important point. Yeah,
Very,
we need to discard wrong views. So of course we can try to discard others' wrong views, but mainly to discard ours. That's the
yeah,
main. And
yeah,
then when we've done that, we need to establish the proper view, the correct view, and we could have some doubts about that view. So that's why we need to dispel objections. Yeah.
and what I've done is, throughout the days, which I don't have right now, but is I because of this class, I start developing these questions. What is the common locus? Are they different? Are they the same? I don't know what class, what we were discussing in class. That,
Yes.
that it was like, why is it not the same? Anyway,
Yeah.
all this, that this is, although my connections are not, I will eventually learn this. It takes me a
Yeah.
while, but it's very, very important. So thank you.
Yes. Yes, my pleasure. Yeah, it's always very useful. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because when you see those debates, like for instance in the Madhyamaka, then we need to have some basics, yeah, according to the grounds, like one and different and so on. Then after we can discuss, is the person one or different from the aggregates and so on. Many things like this. Yeah, that's very useful. Very
Very,
useful.
very thank
Very good. And we have Tara. Welcome. Tara. Yeah, the liberator. Very good. Yes. So with Rosiola, we discussed about the main points, like how to discard wrong views, how to establish the correct view, and how to dispel objections. Yeah. to that view. So that's the main point. Yes, that's true. And it's very useful for the classical texts. Yeah. So we see that in many pages, and also, you know, the basics that we study here, like one and different, are very useful for the Madhyamaka, for the, you know, for the classical texts as well. Yeah. Okay, very good. Fantastic. So today we will see the syllogism, and I have a few slides. They are not very, you know, they are not so numerous. I have a few only just to explain the basics of the syllogism. Okay, so we can see that. And yes,
Can I take some time, since we, you
yes,
know,
yeah.
we're not so many, and but there's more people. I know that this is a question we saw back then, but last night, sorry, without my glasses, is one and different and isolates.
Mm-hmm.
So conceptually, one, it's not so difficult. Different, which once you start debating, it is very difficult with you. But this other one of isolates.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit of that?
Yes, like the isolates, it's just the way a thought consciousness is apprehending things. Yeah? Like we could say, for instance, impermanent and produced are one entity. Yeah, if it's impermanent, it has to be produced. And if it is produced, it has to be impermanent. Yeah. So with regard to the object, that's the same object. Yeah. So they are one entity. But with regard to the subject, they can be isolated. They can be conceptually isolated. Produced is one with produced, and impermanent is one with impermanent. Yeah, so there are different isolates, but they are the same entity.
So the table can have those isolates, permanent and impermanent,
Yes, exactly.
as well as color and shape.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Color and shape, we could say they are one entity, because as long as you see a color, you have to find a shape as well, and the way around. But still, color is the opposite of not being one with color, and shape is the opposite of not being one with shape. So only color is one with color. So color can be isolated, conceptually isolated from shape. Yeah.
So
Is it right?
one entity, like a table, can have many isolates, which will be color and shape, permanent, impermanent,
Yes.
phenomena. Is it being a phenomena also an isolate?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. So table has only one isolate, but is associated with many isolates. Yeah, like as you say, form, existent, and so on. A table.
And table is one isolate out
Yes.
of the whole entire universe, is
Exactly.
this table.
Exactly. Yeah. Only
And that's why
table is
it's an
one.
isolate. It's one with table, but it's also an isolate of
Yes.
table.
We could say that each phenomenon is its own isolate.
Yes. It makes sense from the
Yeah.
whole universe.
We could say that the table is its own isolate, but isolate itself is permanent, yeah? But table is impermanent. So we could say that table is its own isolate, but the isolate of table is not a table. It is permanent.
Wow.
So there's a permanent and impermanent, and that's what you said in the beginning.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Table is impermanent. So table is its own isolate. We could say table is one with table, but the isolate of table is permanent. So that's why table is its own isolate, but the isolate of table is not table because it's permanent.
Why is it? And I'm sorry, I know that this is not part of the class, but I have to,
No problem.
ask these questions. Why is it that, this table that I have right here, this table is an isolate of table and it's impermanent, but the isolate of table is permanent. So if I get the isolate in my mind, that's the one that is permanent?
Yes, we could say so. We could say that any isolate coexists with the thing itself, with the phenomenon itself, but
Mhm.
is not that phenomenon itself. Yeah, we could say that the isolate is a means by the thought consciousness to apprehend table itself.
So it's yeah, that's important to me. That so it's the means to apprehend the table.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Only table and not the red table or wooden table, just table, exactly.
So this isolate of table is the isolate of table is permanent because it's being apprehended by the mind. But why do you say that you just said that is not this stable? I anyway, sorry.
Yes.
It takes me a
Yes,
couple of
because
times to
because the isolate of table is permanent. It is the appearing object to thought consciousness.
Mhm.
Still, it coexists with table, but it is only explicitly realized by the thought consciousness itself. Yeah,
But
so
the
that,
one realized with the thought consciousness is not this table, is all tables. Is the concept of table or this table?
yeah, the isolate of table is not the concept of table, because the concept of table is, we could say, temporary permanent. That's the meaning generality of table. But the meaning generality of table has as a content, we could say, the isolate of table. Because when we think of table, we don't think about red table, just table. Yeah, so that's the general isolate, we could say. We exclude all the instances. Yeah.
So when we have this table that in our mind, I do see a table like a cartoon in kindergarten, and
Yeah.
it does have a shape and color and everything because it's the one I was drawing in kindergarten. Why is it that it represents all of the tables?
Yeah, because the meaning generality mixes all the tables that we saw and uses one image. So the image that you have of the drawing, for instance, that image, say, is impermanent, but the content of the meaning generality is permanent. But we have, it's like a two-sided event, we could say. Like the thought consciousness itself is a consciousness, so it can use an image which is impermanent, but the content of the meaning generality is temporary permanent.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Welcome everyone. Welcome, Kunchodon Mala, Palaviji, everyone. Happy to meet you again.
Evening, good evening. Back in class. Thank you.
That's very nice. I'm very happy. And so, yes, we had some preliminary talks, very deep ones. And still, we will go back to the isolates issue sometime. So, yes, for now, is it clear for everyone the comparisons? If we compare phenomena, then is it okay for you? Those notions, the contradiction, equivalent, 3P and 4P, is that clear for everyone?
Yes, they are clear. I just can't use them well.
There you go.
Team Sarah.
Fantastic, because that's the main tool, yeah? So we use that a lot during the debates. And yeah, that's the very basics that we have to learn. Then after, we need to know the process of the debate itself. So you already know that the challenger could posit a two-part consequence. Like for instance, it follows that the subject table is impermanent. So it's a two-part consequence because we have just a subject table and the predicate impermanent. Yeah, so the subject and the predicate is a probandum or a thesis, we could say. Yeah, something that we need to prove. Yeah, so it's just a simple affirmation. It follows that the subject table is impermanent. So it's a two-part consequence. and the defender has two options, yeah, to reply. So just if the defender agrees, then accept. If the defender doesn't agree, then why? Yeah, is it okay for everyone? Okay, very good. So first we can have some exercise with that. It's a kind of review session today. And after we will have some 3-part consequences as well, yeah? Okay, with the syllogism. Okay, so it follows that the subject cup is the opposite of not being cup.
Accept.
Yeah. Yes, it follows that the subject cup is the opposite of not being cup. Yeah, it's a non-cup. Yeah, so it's a cup. Okay, it follows that the subject cup is matter.
Accept.
Very good. It follows that the subject cup is permanent.
Why?
Why? Very good. It follows that the subject cup is a non-cup.
Why?
Why? Very good. It follows that the subject cup is a functioning thing.
Accept.
Accept. Yes, it's impermanent. It's produced. Okay, very good. It follows that the subject color is impermanent.
Accept.
Accept.
Why?
Oh, why? It follows that the subject. So the challenger will posit the opposite assertion. Yeah. So it follows that the subject color is not impermanent.
Accept.
It is not because.
Because the subject color is a meaning generality.
Okay. So it follows that the subject color is not suitable to be a hue.
Is
Accept or why? It follows that the subject color is not suitable to be a hue. Yes, suitable to be a hue is the definition of color. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay, so it follows that the subject color is not suitable to be a hue.
Oh, it is. So what would I say?
So
It is.
why? Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
why? Why?
Okay. So it follows that the subject color is suitable to be a hue.
Accept.
Okay, and it follows that the subject meaning generality is not suitable to be a hue.
Accept. Yeah.
Yes, it is not because.
It is not a color. It is not the definition of color. Oh,
Yeah, very
but
good.
yeah.
But color is form.
Yes, for color is form and meaning
So
generality.
form is impermanent.
Yes, and meaning generality is not form.
Meaning generality is not form, accept.
Accept,
But is
yes.
color, but is any name meaning generality?
We could say a name. Yeah, a name. Is it a meaning generality? I'm not sure because a name could be sound. And if we
Yes.
say a name could be a definiendum sometimes also, you know, the object which is defined. So in that case, it's not a meaning generality.
Oh,
Yeah,
definiendum is not meaning generality.
exactly. It is a generality, but it is not a meaning generality. It's not a concept. It's a generality. It's a permanent generality, but it's not a concept.
Is definition a concept?
It is not.
It is not.
When we think about definition, we have the meaning generality of definition, which is the appearing object, the thought consciousness. Yeah, but definition itself is not a meaning generality. It is a generality.
Okay.
Is it a functioning thing then? A definition is a functioning thing?
It is permanent, because many definitions are permanent and many definitions are impermanent. So definition itself is permanent. Yeah. But if it is a definition, it's not necessarily permanent.
And it's permanent and impermanent because in this definition, and this is a question, is it definition is permanent and impermanent because among all the definitions in the entire world, there's some definition of uncompounded space and there's
Yes.
some of impermanent, and that's what makes it okay.
Yes, you like organic rice and non-organic rice. Yeah, organic rice would be symbolic for impermanent phenomena, and non-organic rice would be the metaphor or symbolic for permanent phenomena. Yeah. So if you take a handful of non-organic rice and you mix it with organic rice, then you cannot sell the organic rice anymore as organic rice. It is contaminated by the non-organic rice. Yeah. Yeah. So for permanent phenomena, they contaminate, for instance. Yeah, when we have a category which encompasses impermanent instances and permanent instances, then the permanent instances are the contaminations in one sense. It makes the whole set permanent. Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah, we will speak again next time about, established base, permanent, impermanent. We will delve into that, yeah? Again, yeah? That's very
Okay.
important. Very good. So it follows that the subject color is permanent.
Mhm. Why?
Why? Very good. It follows that the subject. Not easy to convince, yeah, Palamiji.
Because I'm so confused.
Yeah, sometimes we tend to think that if it is a generality, it has to be a generally characterized phenomenon, but it's not the case, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
got it.
Okay, very good. So you all perfectly know the answers, yeah, for a two-part consequence. If we agree, accept. If we don't agree, why? That's very easy. Okay, so now a three-part consequence. I have some slides, we can check it very quickly. Okay. Like, okay, so usually when we address a three-part consequence, it's a syllogism. And a syllogism, of course, we always need the good heart with the good mind. That's the main point here when we debate. And when we address a syllogism, it's a three-part consequence because we have the subject and the predicate and a reason. We want to prove the thesis. We want to prove the probandum, yeah, the subject and the predicate. So here we have, for instance, a very good syllogism. It follows that the subject sound is impermanent because it is produced. So it's a perfect syllogism. Yeah, so we will see why. But if it is a perfect syllogism, if the defender agrees, then we have to say accept. That's the same process, like a two-part consequence. Yeah, we accept. Okay. So we have to check if the reason fits with the subject first. That's the first job of the defender. Yeah? Is the subject sound produced or not? Yeah, that's the main thing to do if we have a three-part consequence. So if the reason is established with regard to the sound, then that's okay. We have to go further. If it's not the case, then we can say the reason is not established. If I say, for instance, it follows that the subject sound is impermanent because it is horn of the rabbit,
Reason is not established.
the reason is not established. Very good. If I say that it follows that the subject sound is impermanent because it is a cup,
Reason is not established.
reason is not established. Okay, so now if we say it follows that the subject sound is impermanent because it is produced, okay, the reason is established. Perfect. So we have to check something else. the first relationship is between the reason and the subject. Is the reason established with regard to the subject? Yeah, that's the first point. Then after, if it is established, we have to check if it is produced, is it necessarily impermanent? Yeah, is there any pervasion? Is produced pervaded by impermanent? Yeah, we could say like this, or because in Sanskrit and Tibetan, we would say like the vyapti, vyatirika vyapti, yeah, is produced, pervaded by impermanent, yeah, khyapa in Tibetan. But we could say those produced entail impermanent. That would be another way to assert that.
I have a question.
Yes.
What English is not my first language, as you can see. What is pervaded? Like, how do you use it? I have, I hear this word in debate, but
Yes.
I have never heard it. So can you
Yes,
explain a little bit more?
Yes, exactly. Like for instance, produced has to be equal, the extension of produced has to be equal or smaller than impermanent. Yeah, it means permanent has to pervade totally produced. Yeah, we could say produced has to entail impermanent. Like in some texts, we could find there is no entailment instead of there is no pervasion. That's exactly the same meaning. Yeah, does produced entail impermanent? If it is produced, is it necessarily impermanent, or is produced pervaded by impermanent? Yeah, that's a very literal way to translate that, vyapti in Sanskrit, yeah.
And you say that it's either, equal or smaller.
Exactly.
So I understand that everything that is produced is impermanent, so that's equal.
Yes.
But then it could be that the reason is smaller than the predicate.
Yes, very good. Yeah, for instance, we could say it follows that the subject cup is impermanent because it is matter. Yeah, so the reason is established because cup is matter and matter is smaller than impermanent. Yeah, you know that the three categories of impermanent is matter, cognition, and non-associated compositional factors. Yeah, so if it is matter, it has to be impermanent. Yeah, matter is smaller than impermanent. Yeah, does it work?
Yes, thank you.
It's okay for everyone. Yeah, if we say it follows the subject, the subject sound. Yeah, sound, it works as well. The subject sound is impermanent because it is form. Everybody agrees that sound is form?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does space carry sound or air carry sound?
The air carries out sound, yeah.
Air carries sound.
Yeah, yeah.
So that means if there's air, why is sound produced? Air will always carry sound. Why? Just because human ear may not hear sound, as long as there's air, it's not
Yes.
produced. It's always there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could
I
say
don't
that.
know. I'm just wondering.
Yes. For instance, if we can imagine the situation, if I ask a question and nobody answers, nobody speaks. Yeah, so there is no sound. Still there is air. There is still air, otherwise we would suffocate when nobody speaks.
But
Yeah,
no,
so
but
there is,
no.
yeah.
Actually, so whales speak underwater. There is
Yes,
sound.
yes, exactly.
Sound.
Yeah, so yeah, we can say that we need air to have sound, or we need water to have sound. We could say we need also any, gross form. Like for instance, you can have sound also, in the desert with the dunes, with the
Yeah.
sand, sometimes you can hear some sound from the sand itself.
Yes.
As long as there is some vibration, it means sound, yeah? Vibration, we could say vibration means sound in one sense, gross vibration. Yeah, because
Right.
one atom vibrates, but I'm not sure if we could hear that. So gross type of vibration in the air, in the water, in the rocks, or in sands, and so on, means sound. Yeah.
So is it produced or did it always? Yeah, okay. So
Yes.
form is produced, therefore
Yes.
it is
Exactly.
impermanent and it is okay. That and then
Yes.
and now sound is moving through all forms, which is why it's impermanent and it is produced and therefore it is impermanent. Okay.
Yes. Sound is produced. Like for instance, if you clap your hands when you debate. So you clap your hands, and as long as you have the contact between your two hands, then you have a sound. So sound is produced by the clap of your hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
good. Fantastic. So if we say that the subject sound is impermanent because it is form, yeah, it is a kind of vibration of matter. So it is form. Yeah. Does it work? It follows that the subject sound is impermanent because it is form.
Yes,
Yeah,
accept.
you accept? Yes, accept. So yes, sound, the very first job is to check, is sound form? Yes, sound is form, sound is matter. So that's the reason which is established. Okay, so that's the first step. And the second step, okay, the reason is established, but is it pervaded by the predicate? Does it entail the predicate? If it is form, is it necessarily impermanent?
Yes, accept.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So if you have, if the reason is established and if there is pervasion, in most cases, you have also the counter pervasion. Yeah. If it is not impermanent, it cannot be produced. That's the counter pervasion. Yeah. Okay. So the forward pervasion is what we call usually the pervasion. Yeah, if it is produced, it is impermanent. And the counter pervasion, if it is not impermanent, it cannot be produced. Yeah, so if we negate the predicate, we have to negate the reason. And if the reason is the three modes, it is the reason is established. It is the property of the subject. It is the pervasion and it is the counter pervasion. If it is the three modes, it is a perfect reason. It is a valid reason. Is it okay for everyone? Okay. So
Now,
now
can
you
I,
know.
sorry,
Yes,
can I ask?
yes,
I don't know
please.
if this is relevant or not, but if it is permanent, actually, can you keep that slide back up?
Oh,
Because I
sorry.
just want to see.
Sorry, yes.
If it is counter is that if it is impermanent, it cannot be produced.
If it is not negated as well, yeah?
Sorry, I lost you for just a second. My internet went off. Can you repeat that?
Yes, so, yes, if impermanent is negated, if the predicate, which is impermanent here, is negated, then the reason produced has to be negated. Yeah, so the way to verbalize that would be if it is not impermanent, it cannot be produced. Yeah.
Okay. If it is not impermanent, it cannot be produced. You put a negation on both.
Yes,
Both.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But
And
I cannot make it if it is permanent. It does like if it is permanent, it is already always produced. I mean, there's no question of production if it is permanent.
yes, so we could say yes that the sometimes in some translations the teachers would say, yeah, if it is permanent, it cannot be produced. But the dissimilar class here, mituncho in Tibetan, the dissimilar class is not permanent. It is not impermanent.
Oh,
Not impermanent. Yeah, because non-existent are not impermanent, but non-existent are not permanent. So that's why we have three types of dissimilar classes. Yeah. So
okay.
this we will see maybe later. But yes, the dissimilar class is not impermanent. Permanent would be one of the dissimilar classes.
Okay. Okay.
Gelda metunchok in Tibetan. Gelda metunchok means the dissimilar class, which is opposite. And
Okay.
that would be the meaning of the object of negation. But the dissimilar class is not necessarily the object of negation. Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to wait for another class on that subject.
Yes, because you have three types of dissimilar classes. You have gelda mitun shok, shembe mitun shok, mepa mitun shok. So gelda mitun shok is the opposite, like the opposite of impermanent is permanent. And you have also shemba mitun shok, like for instance, existent. Existent is another type of dissimilar class. Yeah.
Mm.
But it's not the opposite of impermanent. And you have also dissimilar class, which is non-existent, mais pas mitun shok, like horn of the rabbit. Yeah, horn of the rabbit is not impermanent.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, only
Because it
permanent
is
is the
non-existent. Okay.
opposite of not impermanent. Yeah, so we have, yeah, if you want to study that, you can read Tibetan Logic. It's a very beautiful book. And we can learn that there are three types of dissimilar classes. Yeah, gelda mitun
It might
shok.
take me 3 years to graduate to that book.
Okay, so drop it for now. But still, here the dissimilar class is just not impermanent.
Got
Yeah,
it.
very good. Okay, very good. So we can play with that. Okay, so it follows that the subject, okay, the subject sound is impermanent because it exists. So first, what is the first step?
Does sound exist?
Yes, is the reason established with regard to the subject? Is there the property of the subject? Yeah, is existent the property of the subject? Does sound exist? Yeah, would you agree? Yeah, sound exists. So the property of the subject is here. Yeah, there is the reason is established. Yeah, okay. So we cannot say the reason is not established because it is established. But still, it's not enough. We have to check now if the reason proves the predicate. Is the reason pervaded by the predicate? If it exists, is it necessarily impermanent?
No, because it's bigger. Here the pervasion is bigger. It's not equal or
Yes.
smaller.
Exactly, very good. The reason is not pervaded by the predicate, it pervades the predicate. Yeah, so the reason is bigger than the predicate. So if we say it follows that the subject sound is impermanent because it exists, no pervasion. It's not because it exists that it has to be impermanent. Yeah, to
So
exist.
here the answer is no pervasion.
No pervasion. Very good. Yes, fantastic. Makya in Tibetan. Yeah. Okay, very good. So if I say, for instance, it follows that the subject, the color of my cup is red because it is not blue. So
No pervasion.
I show you the color of my cup in order to check if there is the if the reason is established or not. Yeah, is the color of my cup blue?
No.
No. So if I say it follows that the subject, the color of my cup is red because it is not blue. Is the reason established? Yes. The color of my cup is not blue. So the reason is established, yeah. But is there any perversion if it is not blue? Does it have to be red?
No
No.
pervasion.
It can be any other color. It can even be a non-color. If it is not blue, it can be a horned rabbit.
But it could be red.
It could be red. It could,
So
and it could not be. So if it could be and not be, there is no perversion.
okay.
Yeah, the perversion is it has to be. Like for instance, if I say it follows that the subject, the color of my cup is blue because it is suitable to be shown as a blue hue. If we imagine that the color of my cup is blue, yeah. Because if I say this cup, it would not, sorry, okay. use this cup. Yeah, it follows that the subject, the color of my cup is gray because it is suitable to be a gray hue.
Except.
Yes, because there is the property of the subject, the reason is established. Yeah, the color of that cup is suitable to be gray hue. And if it is suitable to be a gray hue, it has to be gray. So there is definitely perversion. No?
Yeah.
And here where you say the color of my cup is red, in it like I see it that is blue. The color of my cup is red, so we know that's because it's not blue. And this is not true because your cup is blue.
Okay, so if we say that it is blue, then in that case, if we for me it is gray, but if you can see
Okay,
it as
great.
blue, why not?
Looks blue here.
not?
On our side, it looks blue.
Okay. So
So-
if I say in that case, imagine that the color of my cup is blue, yeah? If I
Mhm.
say it follows that the subject of my cup is red because it is not blue, would you say the reason is established or no perversion?
The reason is not established.
The reason is not established, yeah, because it would be blue,
Mhm.
yeah?
But in this case where it let's say it's red, because you said color of my cup is red because it's not blue. So we have a red cup. It's a cup with the color red. Okay.
Yes.
Here where it says it's red, which is the predicate, and then the reason because it's not blue. And when we do the privation,
Yes, so there
because
is no perversion.
it's not blue means all the colors.
Yes, exactly. If
And
it's not
red
blue.
only mean one color. So within all the colors is pervaded the red.
Yes, exactly. Non-blue pervades red. It is not pervaded by red. Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. There is no pervasion. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not
And the
because
opposite, it's not red because it's blue, also works.
yes, it's not red because it's blue, that works. Yeah. If I say it follows that the subject, the color of my cup is not red because it is blue. Imagine that it is blue and not gray. It follows that the subject, the color of my cup is not red because it is blue.
Accept.
Yes, the reason is established. Imagine it is,
That reason is established.
and there is perversion. If it is blue, it's necessarily not red.
Yeah, because blue is bigger.
Yes, blue and red are contradictory.
Mhm.
Yes, okay. Very good. It follows that the subject, my cup is, okay, I would say, okay. It follows that the subject, my cup is blue because it is a color.
Reason not established.
The reason is not established. My cup is not a color, has a color, but is not a color. Yeah. Okay. Very okay. If I say it follows that it follows that the subject green is not red because it is a color.
Reason not established.
Ah, yes, red is a color.
Huh?
Yes, exactly. So yes, if I say it follows that the subject red is not blue because it is a color, the reason is established, yeah? Red
The
is a,
reason is established.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But is there perversion? If it is a color, is it necessarily not blue?
No, no probation.
Yes, no perversion. If it is a color, it can be blue. It's not necessarily not blue. So
Okay. Can you repeat your first sentence? Actually, why did
Yeah.
I think reason? You said if it is green, it is not red.
accept. Yes. So it follows that
Okay.
the subject, yes, it follows that the subject green is not red because it is a color.
Because it is a color. So, but then so that's a three-part consequence.
Exactly. So Is there any, is there the property of the subject? Is the reason established? Is green a color?
Yes.
Yeah, so the reason is established, yeah. But now,
Okay.
is there any perversion? If it is a color, is it necessarily not red?
It is necessarily not red. Yes.
Ah, if it is a color, so it follows that the color of a red
Oh,
tissue is
oh.
not red because it is a color.
Okay, no pervasion. Okay.
Okay, so if it is a color, it's not necessarily not red.
But you said green, right, first?
Yes.
That's why I said,
Yeah, so I accept that green is not red, but the way we tend to prove it doesn't work.
okay.
Yes, if I say the mere thesis, yeah, the mere two-part consequence, it follows that the subject green is not red, accept.
Mm,
But my proof, my reason doesn't work. It follows that the subject green is not red because it is a color. No perversion.
got it. Okay. No pervasion.
Yes,
Okay.
very
Can we go back to sound again?
yes. Yes, it follows that the subject sound is green because it is a color. Not established, yeah.
Reason not
Reason is
established.
not established. Sound is not a color, yeah. Okay. So it follows that the subject sound is a shape because it's not a color.
Sound is a shape
Yeah,
because it's
I
not a
see
color.
some people accept. It follows that the subject sound is a shape. Shape is an object of apprehension of an eye consciousness, yeah. So it follows that the subject sound is a shape because it's not a color.
But does no reason. What is
No,
the
the
question?
Is the reason established? Yes, sound is not a
yes.
color. Is there any
Sound is not a
perversion?
color.
If it's not a color, does it have to be a shape?
No.
No. If it's not a color, it doesn't have to be a shape. It can be permanent. It can be non-existent and so on, yeah?
Oh, okay. No pervasion then. Okay.
No perversion,
But
very good.
sound can have shape.
Ah, sound can have shape.
I mean,
Uh,
all the harmonics and everything that we see, there's different
yeah.
frequencies.
Yes, yes, we could say so. We could say that sound is associated with shape. You know, if we speak about the smallest particles accepted by the Vaibhashika and the Sotransika and so on, they would say that particles in the desire realm, yeah, if we speak about the desire realm, particles, they have 8 components, yeah, the 4 elements, and the
Mhm.
4 arisen from the elements. And if we speak about sound, it has, yeah, a particle of sound has to be associated with those 8 particles.
Mm.
Makes 9 particles. So it's a
Okay.
bit complicated because we don't accept that in the Chittamatra and Madhyamaka. But for the
Oh,
basic
okay.
rules, we accept the smallest particles, which are at least, at the very least, composed by 4 elements and 4 derivatives. Yeah, for a reason from the elements.
Okay. So
Uh,
Chittamantra and Rasangika or Swatantrika doesn't accept sound is form.
they would
Sound
accept.
is form.
They would accept that. They would
Oh.
accept that sound is form. Yeah, but they would not say that sound is associated with smallest particles, like you cannot divide them. They have no directions, we could say. Then Chittamatra and Madhyamaka would not accept them. Yeah. There is some exception, like Kunkien Jamyang Chepa and Drupta Chenmo would say that according to Bhava Viveka, Acharya Bhava Viveka, he would accept the smallest particles like the So Trantika, but it's an exception. Yeah. Usually in any Madhyamaka tenet would refute those particles. Yeah. Yeah, and the
Okay.
Chitta as well. Yeah.
I don't understand particles as much, but I understand. I mean, what I was thinking was sound has forms. Form could take place in many different ways. I
Yes.
mean, like you said, it was air and water and
Mhm.
sand and earth. Sound is traveling.
Yeah.
So Prasangikan, I mean, the Madhyamika is accepting that sound is
Form.
form, it is
Exactly.
impermanent,
Yes.
and when we say it is produced and impermanent does not mean being eternal. It's just changing moment to moment.
Yes. Yes, that's true. Exactly.
Okay.
Very good. Yes,
So
but
then
yeah.
I want to form a syllogism, but I don't know how to. I'm going to ask the question
Yes.
for sound. Um, you said if everybody is here, you ask a question and there's no answer. So there's no sound.
Yes.
So that means even though all functioning things exist, but there is no sound. Are we saying sound like does sound exist or does not exist? Everybody is there, but nobody makes any sound.
Yes. Yes. Sound has to exist. Yeah. If it doesn't exist, then what do we hear now?
Just because no, but what I'm saying is like suppose we're in a meditation hall and everybody's quiet.
Yes. So
Is
okay. So there would
sound
be no
exist or
sound.
not?
There would be no sound in that hall.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there is no sound outside. Yeah. In the
So
traffic
so
jam.
I'm thinking that's why so I think sound is permanent. It's because it's there all the time.
Okay.
Mm.
Ah.
So how to form the
Okay.
syllogism in debate
Well, I would say
before
no perversion. It follows that the subject sound is permanent because it is there all the time. No perversion.
no pervasion.
Yes, it is there all the time. I could say that there is sound anywhere, anytime you can find sound, except maybe, yeah, in the out space, you know, like between the moon and the earth, there is no sound. Like we could say there we can find some waves, radio waves, and so on. Yeah, there are many waves, light waves and
Yeah.
radio waves and so on, but we cannot hear them. Still,
Mm-hmm.
there are waves. Okay, but if we speak sound like a gross type of wave, so there is no sound between the moon and the earth, for instance. Yeah, but still there is sound on the planet, and anytime you can find any sound. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it is permanent. Yeah, like for instance, consciousness, the continuum of mind is always there. It doesn't mean that it is permanent. Yeah.
But it's changing moment to moment, and
Yes.
that's why it is impermanent. Okay. Even though
Yes.
it endures because of the
Yes.
definition of permanent, because even space, there are all these like people who put all these like huge antennas to listen to sound from different planets and things. So we think there are, we just don't know. So I'm thinking it's okay, sound is impermanent because it is changing moment to moment. Maybe that's what I
Exactly.
just need to agree to.
Yeah.
And
And then I think I did a syllogism, so I'm very proud, but you correct me. Sound in the meditation hall, which is completely quiet. The meditation hall is completely quiet, you cannot hear. Sound in the quiet meditation hall does not exist because it's not produced.
Mhm. So it follows that the subject sound is not produced.
The sound in the quiet meditation hall has not been produced.
It follows that the subject sound in the meditation hall is an instance of sound.
but it is not, there is no sound. She's saying no sound in the meditation hall is an instance of sound not being produced.
Yes, I would say that sound not being produced is a non-existent. If it's sound, it has to be produced. So
But
we
no
could say
sound is not, it is necessarily not produced.
Non-produced sound does not
exactly.
exist because it's not produced.
So
That's the way we can say it.
we could say the subject, the silence in the meditation hall is not produced, yes, the silence, the absence of sound Yeah, the
Ah,
absence of sound, yeah, is not impermanent because it is not produced. Yes, a mere absence is not produced, it's permanent. Yes, very good. The absence of sound in the meditation hall
but
is
the
not.
absence of sound exists.
I accept, yeah. Otherwise, it would be noisy everywhere.
Lovely, lovely.
That was very good. That was a good syllogism, Lucia. Really. Wait, so
Yeah, where I got like, but good. That's the way we learn.
yeah. So
Exactly.
absence of sound is not produced. Is that
Accept.
is that what we agreed is the syllogism we are?
Yes, accept.
Therefore, it is impermanent? No, it has
Therefore,
to be permanent.
oh, it follows that if it is not produced, it's necessarily permanent. It follows that the subject horn of the rabbit is permanent because it's not produced.
But it's a phenomena, absence of sound. The phenomena, absence of sound, is impermanent. It is permanent because it is not produced.
So it
No?
follows if it is not produced, it is necessarily permanent. Yeah, that's the perversion, yeah? Yeah, the
Yes.
challenge would say you accepted the perversion. Yeah, kya paket. Yeah, you accepted the perversion. It follows that if it is not produced, it's necessarily permanent.
Except.
So it follows that horn of the rabbit is permanent because it's not produced.
But I said phenomena that is not produced. Phenomena that is not
Ah,
produced.
in that case, yeah, the subject, the absence of sound is permanent because it's a phenomenon which is not produced that works.
Okay.
Yeah, if it is a phenomenon which is not produced, it's necessarily permanent.
Okay.
But if
And
it
what
is
is the
not
definition? What is the definition of phenomenon?
phenomenon, who has the definition?
Holds its own existence.
Yeah, that which holds its own entity.
And hold
Yeah,
its own entity.
very
Oh my
good.
goodness. So
Don't get
how does
lost
an
in that.
absence hold its own entity when it is not even an entity?
Yes, it is an entity. It is a phenomenon, but it is not. Yeah, it holds its own entity because for the Sotrantika, yeah, we could say that everything has to be truly established.
Mm.
Yes, for the Sotrantika, Vaibhashika, and so on, everything has to be truly established. Yeah, only the Madhyamika would refute true existence, but the non-Madhyamika schools would accept true existence. So when they say, like for instance, Acharya Vasubandhu in the Abhidharma Kosha would say, Swalakshana Dharanat Dharmaha. Yeah, he says it is a phenomenon because it holds its own characteristics. Yeah, it means it holds its inherent characteristics. And all the non-prasangika would accept inherent characteristics. Swalakshana. Yeah, so that's very important. That's the object of negation of Aryanagajuna, Swalakshana. The own characteristics existing by its own characteristics. Yeah, so that's why they say it's holding its own entity. It means that it doesn't depend on any imputation in one sense.
So absence cannot have swalakshana because it cannot hold, it has nothing to hold on to. Absence will be like if
Yeah.
absence of elephant in my room
Yes, very good.
cannot have swalakshana of elephant.
Yes, it cannot have any swalakshana of elephant, but it has a swalakshana of a mere absence, of being a negation. Like a negation is defined. Like for instance, we have many definitions of negation. Like Yonzin Purbuchak would say, Ranzin tope gagja musuche pitsurgi topajawa. Yeah, that which is realized by the explicit negation of its object of negation by the thought consciousness apprehending it. So
Okay.
we would say that the mere negation of elephant has its own swalakshana, his own characteristics, as being a mere absence, as being realized by the explicit elimination of its own object of negation by the thought consciousness apprehending it.
Okay. So, but it's totally thought comprehension, right? Because this absence, even if it is a gross absence, like the car in the garage is not there, there is no car in the garage, it's a very
Yes.
gross thing. but it's still a thought. Like, I know if I go outside and see, oh, there's no car in the garage, but it's still a thought consciousness that is making me
Yes.
understand that.
Yes, exactly. Because you could ask, is there any chair in the garage? Is there any plant in the garage? Is there anybody in the garage? Only the thought consciousness would allow you to realize that mere absence.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Would allow you to realize explicitly that mere absence, I would say.
Okay.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Tarara. Thank you very much. Take care. Okay, so if we go back to the syllogism, we could say, okay, it follows that the subject table is not blue because it is a wooden table. It follows that the subject table is not blue because it is a wooden table.
No provision.
No perversion. So if we say no perversion, it means the reason is established, yeah?
Table is made of wood, is what
It
this.
follows that any table has to be made of wood.
Okay.
It follows there is no metal table, there is no plastic table. So I would say that the reason is not established. The subject table is not made of wood.
Okay.
Yeah, table is just table. We don't specify it yet. Okay. Very good. If I say it follows the subject red, red is a color because it is suitable to be a red hue.
I'm sorry, can I ask from a debate point of view?
Yes.
You are the defender when you make that statement?
Or we could say that sometimes when the challenger asks the defender to justify, to give a reason, then the defender could assert something like this. That would be, yeah.
My confusion came because you said the table is made of wood and the color is blue.
Yeah,
And has
the subject table is blue because it is made of wood, or the table is not blue. Yeah, I think it was this one.
okay.
The subject, the table is not blue because it is made of wood.
But you made the statement.
Yes,
So
I'm
I
the
cannot
challenger.
challenge you. But you
So
made the
you could
statement.
challenge me. You could
But
challenge me. Yeah, yeah, please.
no, I'm saying I wouldn't challenge you whether it's a wood table or a metal table because you brought up the statement and you said it is a wood table and
Yes.
the color it does not have, I forget now the full statement, but why would I challenge the reason?
Yes, you could challenge it. You could say, okay, you could say why, for instance. Okay, sorry, I gave a reason. So you could say the reason is not established. Okay, so the challenger could say, yes, the reason is established because if it is a table, it has to be made of wood. And you would say, the reason is not established. Okay, so I would say, so it follows that if it is a table, it's not necessarily made of wood. Accept. For instance,
Okay.
and I could give you the opportunity to give a an illustration. So I would say, for instance, then you could say the subject metal table. The subject metal table is not made of wood. Yeah,
Okay, so we attack even the reason first. We'll never take it for granted. Just because the statement
exactly.
has been made. First, we have to attack what is the reason, then we have to check, is this the right
Exactly.
provision? Okay.
Yes, that's the very first step. Exactly. Yeah,
And how do we ask the challenger to define table, to give a definition? Because table is not blue because it's not a wooden table. Well, can I ask you, what are you talking about when you talk about table? How
Yes,
do you
exactly.
ask that?
Yes, you could say, okay, you could say there is doubt. Sometimes we could say that in Tibetan, tetsomsa. In some cases, we could say there is doubt. And then I would say, okay, what kind of doubt? I don't know what you speak about the table. Yeah, things like this. Yeah.
Also, we can say it follows, the definition of table.
Yes, we could say like this.
Okay. And then they pause it, and then they can give the actual definition of
Mm.
table from their point
Yes.
of view. And then we can say, oh, so he thinks it's a wooden table. And now we
Mhm.
can, okay, I see, I see.
Very
Doubt
good.
is going to be my favorite word now.
Yeah. So if I say, as we said before, yeah, it follows that the subject red is a color because it is suitable to be a red hue. Is the reason established? Is red suitable to be a red hue?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
now that's the first step. The second step is, okay, the reason is established, but is there any perversion? If it is suitable to be a red hue, is it a color? Necessarily a color? Yes. Because
Yeah.
suitable to be a hue is the definition of color. So if it is suitable to be a red hue, it's necessarily suitable to be a hue. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. So that's a perfect syllogism. Yeah. Okay, very good. If I say no, it follows that the subject table is one because it's not different. The subject table is one because it's not different.
It's also a perfect syllogism.
Okay, so it follows that the subject table is not different. That's okay.
Mhm.
And if it is not different, is it necessarily one?
Mhm.
It follows that the subject horn of the rabbit is not different.
But table is phenomena here, or
Yes, exactly. So when we speak about
why are
the
you?
perversion,
How do you bring
yeah,
that horn of a rabbit here?
yes, because the property of the subject, yeah, is the reason established. It is the relationship between the reason and the subject. Yeah, so yes, table is not different. But now the perversion, we put aside the subject. The perversion is between the reason and the predicate. If it is not different, is it necessarily one?
Except.
So it follows that the subject horn of the
I
rabbit
got it.
is one because it is not different.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, if we say, for instance, it follows that the subject table is one because it is a phenomenon which is not different, that's a perfect syllogism. Yeah, if it is a phenomenon which is not different, it has to be one. Yeah, but if we say just it follows that the subject table is one because it's not different, okay, it is not different, that's okay. But if it is not different, is it necessarily one? No, horn of the rabbit is not different, and it is not one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So now if we say, yes, please.
Table is one
Yes.
because it is not different. But any phenomena can be different.
I
Any
think what's
phenomena?
missing here is the phenomena.
Yes.
Table is one because it's a phenomena that is not different, that would work. But because it's missing
Yes.
the word phenomena, doesn't work.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes, if it's not, if we don't specify a phenomenon and we have a negation, it's not different. Is horn of the rabbit different or not different?
It's not different.
It's not different, yeah. And horn of the rabbit is not one either. Yeah, so it's not because it's not different that it has to be one. It can be just non-existent. Yeah, but if it is a phenomenon, if it exists and is not different, then it has to be one. We have no choice. Yeah.
So it also work one. A horn of a rabbit also works with one because if this is my question to you is, if it is one, it could be not different or not a a horn of a rabbit. No,
Yeah.
wait. Yes.
If it is one, it cannot be different, and it cannot be horn of the rabbit either,
Oh, okay.
because one is the definition of one is a phenomenon which is not diverse. Yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if it is one, it cannot be different, and it cannot be a whole other bit. So if I say the subject table is not different because it is one, it follows that the subject table is not different because, of course, in the WhatsApp, I will send you some exercises, very simple
Not
exercises for
because
next
it's
time. Yeah.
one.
It follows that the
One.
subject table is not different because it is one.
Yeah, except because it is one
It is one.
and it
And
is not different. Yeah.
yes, and the perversion, if it is one, it's necessarily not different. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. And the counter perversion would be if it is not different, it cannot be one. That's the counter perversion. Yeah. If it is not different, so it means if it is different, it cannot be one. So we have the subject, the perversion, and the counter perversion. Yeah, usually speaking, if we have the perversion, we have the counter perversion anyway.
But how can
There,
the table, one table not be different? I mean, if it is, how can be different?
yes, the table, we could say, okay, we could say, for instance, it follows that the subject table is different because it is different from pot.
But then the opposite pervasion would also, I mean, the first syllogism would not have worked because I was thinking that, what if there's a cup? It's different from cup.
Okay,
So it is different. So it's not one.
so it follows that there is no phenomena which are one. If they exist, they have to be different.
So if there are birds, so they're all, yeah, I mean, I don't know if like one category of birds, one category of animals, one category of humans.
Yeah.
Are we one human, one
Yeah.
bird, one, or are we different?
Yes, any phenomenon is one with itself.
One
Yeah.
phenomenon, yeah, any phenomena is
Yes,
one with itself, yes.
exactly. Very good. So every phenomenon, if you select conceptually, you isolate any phenomenon, it is just one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
If
is
we,
also different
yes, if you
with
compare,
every other phenomena.
if you compare with any other phenomenon, then it is not one anymore. It's different.
Mm.
Yeah. If you say, okay, it follows that the subject pot is different from table because it is different. Is it,
Yes.
you would accept?
Yeah, because a pot is different from table, no?
Yes, but is pot different or one?
Pot is one.
Pot is one, so the reason is not established.
Oh,
Yeah, the subject pot is different from table because it is different. The reason is not established. Pot is one, it is not different.
okay.
Yeah.
First attack the reason, then look for permission.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Is the reason established? That's the very, very first step. Exactly. Very good. So on the WhatsApp, I will send you some items of syllogisms. Then try to check if there is something wrong, and if there is something wrong, does it come from the reason which is not established? Yeah, it doesn't fit with the subject, or does it come from the perversion? Yeah, yeah. The reason is established, but it doesn't prove the predicate. It doesn't entail the predicate, or it is not pervaded by the predicate. Yeah, so if there is something wrong like this, the syllogism is not good. Yeah, we could say, for instance, it follows that the subject pot is pot because it is pot. Is the reason established? Yes, pot is pot. No, no,
Yes.
Surabiji, you don't agree. Pot is not pot.
So here, aren't we supposed to say the pot is the phenomena pot is pot? Here also we are missing the word pot. That's a phenomena. That's why I said the reason is not
Ah,
established.
Okay. Could pot be a non-phenomenon?
No.
No, pot is necessarily a phenomenon.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So if we say it follows that the subject pot is pot because it is pot, is the reason established? Is pot pot?
So pot is pot because it is the phenomena pot. Can we say that?
We could say like this, but if we say just pot is pot because it is pot,
Hmm.
would it work?
Yes.
No,
It
I
would be
think we'd
very-
have to ask why. What is the definition? You know, something like
Yeah.
that.
The definition of pot is flat-based, bulbous, flat-based, able to hold water. Yeah.
So if
Right.
it performs the function of pot, then it is pot. Yes, accept.
Yeah. So it follows that the subject pot is pot because it is pot. You would accept.
Pot is pot because pot is pot, reason established, but there's no pervasion
Oh, there is no
because
provision. If it is pot, it's not necessarily pot.
it could be, because a pot could be used to hold a plant, and it's flat bulbous, but it's not being functioning. It's not functioning as a pot. It's functioning as a flower
Pot.
pot.
Yes, okay, but if we use that pot as a pot, it is a pot. Yeah.
Yes.
So there is pervasion. If it is pot, it's necessarily pot. If it is pot, it cannot be non-pot.
Even if it is not used as pot, it cannot be non-pot.
Yeah, so it's not pot in the very first place. Yeah, it's not pot. So if it is not pot, it's not pot. So there is a counter-pervasion.
No. So it's a flat bulbous. It meets the definition of a pot, okay? But
Yeah.
I'm using it to hold pencils. All my pencils
So-
are in a pot. So it is
so in that
non-pot.
case, yes, it is a pot because it is still able to hold water.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't hold water now, it is able to do so, no?
Okay. But the
So
ability does not lie in the pot. It lies in the person who's doing, so it is not able to. It cannot,
yeah,
even if
so,
it really wanted to hold water and I'm just putting pencils in it, it cannot
so,
be a pot.
so it follows that we cannot find any pot in the supermarket because in the supermarket, nobody puts any water in the pots that they sell. So in that case, we should say the reason is not established. Even if it is counterintuitive, it is madrubetensi, it is a non-established reason. Why? Because there is no difference at all between the three elements of the syllogism. Yeah, if there is no difference between the subject and the predicate, or if there is no difference between the predicate and the reason, or if there is no difference between the subject and the reason, then it is a non-established reason. Madrubetensi. Yeah, there is the property of the subject, but it doesn't prove anything because we just say pot is pot because it is pot. It
Yeah.
doesn't prove anything, yeah. So in that case, in that very specific case, we have to say the reason is not established. Even if pot is pot, yes, pot is pot, but according to Chanel Amashidrup in his textbook on logic, he would say that it is one of the different types of non-established reasons. There is no difference between one or the other of the members of the syllogism. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very good. You've been very sharp. Thank you so much. It was very pleasant. If you have any question, please, there.
So in this case, can we say one is one because it is one?
Yes, so in that case, I would say the reason is not established.
Right.
So you could say it follows that the subject one is not one.
Yeah.
So I would say, why? So it follows that the subject one is one. Accept. So the reason is established. So you could debate like this, yeah. But that's a
Okay.
very specific type of unestablished reason. Even if the reason is established, technically speaking, but still it doesn't prove anything. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. If you say the subject one is not different, is a phenomenon which is not different because it is a phenomenon which is not diverse, that works. You have a very least difference between the members of the syllogism. Yes, or you
Okay.
could say one is not different because it is the opposite of not being one. That works as well. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much and see you next time. And I will send you some samples. Yeah. Thank you so much. Take care. For the sake of all the beings, for the long life and very good health of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and for the sake of all the beings. Thank you so much. Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. My pleasure. See you.
Yeah.